Hello, Gemini. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well and really looking forward to bringing through all the channeled messages, all the messages in the cards as well today. A lot came through, and there's a lot that came through with respect to sort of light and stars. So we'll talk about that in just a second. I'd like to introduce myself first. If this is your first time here, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This furry little lovely guy is my dog, Apollo. I like to bring him up at the beginning for some healing energy for all of us. Today, we're going to be looking at the month of February, but as is the case with everything that we do here, the very beginning of this could actually resonate for here and now, because I begin every reading with some channeled messages, which I have here on the table, and I'm going to talk about those in just a moment. And the channeled messages come through in dreams, in meditations, and it's really relevant for whoever's here today, and it can be relevant for right here and right now. So we'll start with those, then we'll get into the cards and take a look at all of the twists and turns, ups and downs. I really don't think there's any downs. I always think that there's potential blocks or opportunities. So blessings and blocks, if you will, for February. And then we expand the forecast to look at specific areas like health, wealth, love, and destiny. The latter part of the reading is a combination of deeper soul work, where we'll dig a little deeper into whatever we see here to make sure that you have what you need for the month ahead. And then we'll meditate to bring it all together. Couple of quick notes before we get started. I will be doing regularly now collectives, and I'll be doing a collective reading on the 31st of this month. I always let those kind of take on whatever flavor that they need to. This month, I want to have a little bit of a focus on healing the heart chakra, but there might be also a little bit of healing the world, because we're in a place of change and movement. And January and February are definitely still kind of in that healing and moving area. So join me for the collective if you can. I always start off with the general reading too. So it's a nice way to get some additional messages on that week between like the end of the last month and the next month. So trying to kind of go live a little bit more. And I may do more of those collectives in the future. So participate, let me know what you like, and I look forward to seeing you there. One more thing, and then I'm going to get started. If you like what you see here, I would love for you to interact. I don't take questions. Sometimes people will ask me questions about, if a love interest is coming back or if they're going to get a job. Listen to the reading. This is going to give you what you need. There's a lot of channeled messages that come through, so just pay attention. You can always book an appointment with me if you want. You can look at my website for information. But if you want to show support, this is the way to do it. You can actually use the super chat icon if you're watching me live. If you're watching me on replay, there's an applaud button. I'll see if I can get this page ready. It's this little thing here, right by the thumb up and thumb down. And both of those ways are a great way to give back. And you can also go to my website and click on the Patron tab if you want to join me on Patreon or somewhere else. So let's talk about the messages now that are coming through. Also, thanks again to my moderators for helping me out. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get started. So this morning, and I'm going to use some visual aids as we go through this, I was thinking about a few things as I was getting ready, as I was walking Apollo, and just kind of like tuning into the energy of your sign. I thought of a couple of tarot cards, the Hermit and the Star, and then I was thinking also of astronomy, not just astrology, but I was thinking of galaxies and quasars. And so I'm going to pull some pictures up, and we're going to talk about this a little bit and why it's important. So let's do that first, actually. I'm going to show you, for those of you that may not immediately know the difference between all of those. First of all, I think we all know the Hermit. I just pulled this particular card because it's plain, and you can see that the Hermit always holds the star in his lantern. And then the star, of course, is that natural state of becoming that which we seek. And the reason this is important is because I was thinking again of like a quasar is basically this accretion disk of material that forms around a supermassive black hole. And galaxies have that same sort of capability to exist around a black hole. So what we're seeing here is this combination of light and dark, and that's really what today is about. The universe is neither one nor the other. It is a combination, light and dark. Light matter, dark matter, light particles, and space between those light particles. One gives context to the other. If we didn't have space, there wouldn't be enough room to fit all of this stuff. If we weren't constantly expanding, we wouldn't also have that same sort of space. If we didn't have light, it would be difficult to see the dark regions of the galaxy and darker objects like black holes. it's interesting to me that two things that are kind of contrasting can coexist. So supermassive black holes are at the center of most, if not all, galaxies, because all of that light matter condenses, and at the center it has to do something, and it becomes that dark kind of black hole, dark star. And although some matter is consumed, that's actually the glue that kind of helps the Milky Way, the Andromeda galaxy, all of our favorite galaxies, especially the spiral and barrel ones out there. They seem to kind of move, if not because, let's say, in spite of that energy at the center. And all of this still doesn't stop the beautiful light that we see in the night sky. So despite the expanse of space and time and things we don't even understand yet, the light reveals the dark, and the light finds a way. And this is the important feat and piece of this, is that the light always finds a way to travel and move through. Even a black hole, it bends around it sometimes. So your message, as I was thinking of astronomy, not just astrology, was find a way to thrive and to shine. And again, we're in a time, 2020 and 2021, there's been a lot of shadow energy, fear, anger, frustration, violence, sickness, disease, all of that. It's all been coming through lower frequency energy. That's kind of like the black hole, and we have to sort of move like a galaxy around it. We can't let that consume us. It can still exist, because in this particular universe, I don't think all are like this, but in this particular universe, we have contrasts. We have light and dark, we have opposites. So opposites can attract, opposites can also work in synergy. And that's what we're going to try to do over the course of this year, is to find a way to thrive, to shine, and to not let the black hole bring us down, not let it kind of get rid of us, okay? So you want to be the lighthouse or the beacon for others. So when you feel this sense that everything's kind of lost, other people are feeling that too, you have to shine, you have to find your passion. We're going to talk now about the Hermit in just a second. Because once you go through this, understanding that I can't rely on other people. I thought I could trust this person, you, this person. I guess not. I guess I have to find that within. That's when you go through the journey of the Hermit. And the Hermit discovers the star. And in everyday speak, that means that you realize that you had the power to do what you were trying to do all along, just like the Wizard of Oz, just like all of the helpers with Dorothy. Everybody had that little plaque that they put around their chest or whatever, but it didn't mean anything. It was already within. The Tin Man had a heart, right? The lion had the bravery. And what was the other guy? The Scarecrow. He was smart. He figured things out. So they always had the capacity, but they had the doubt that was holding them back. The doubt, the fear, or the uncertainty. So we have to move past giving our power to other people or relying on other people, whether they are a teacher, a parent, a politician, whomever in your life. We can't rely on those systems as much. It has to be the light within. And just because somebody lets us down, it doesn't mean that the world is going to fall apart. It means that now we have the chance to shine. So one more time, I want to show the two cards here. If you look again at the Hermit card in any deck, if it's a good deck, you should see that he's holding something like a candle or a lantern. And you should see an emphasis on the star within the lantern. That's the important piece. And if we look at, I think I can pull up the traditional Rider-Waite one here too. Same thing here on the Rider-Waite one. You'll actually see the star there. It's like I think it's a 6-pointed star, or yeah, the center. So that then gives way to this. So I think this is what we are starting to come to as a society right now, and not just like as a human race. We're starting to go from putting our faith in maybe all of these systems or higher people and realizing now, no, just like in the ancient times, we came from the stars, we are stars, we are the luminous ones. So we have that capacity to be the star too. So be the star, okay? Let's go on to the next piece, and this is much less stellar. We'll get into more stellar stuff at the end. I was paying attention in my dreams last night. It felt like I needed to organize everything. I was looking at ledgers for finances. I was looking at medical charts. I was looking at just stuff, paperwork So it feels to me like it's important for you right now to focus on getting things in order. Organize your office, your home, your desktop, computer, and actual physical desktop. The reason that this is important is that like attracts like. And so if you keep things around you clean and clear and bright, then you're going to find that your health, your career, your relationships are going to attract people that are organized, that are accountable, that have things together, that aren't carrying baggage or don't have like a clouded energy. So clean your space. And you probably are going to find that you have some new ideas too, because just like anything, you need room. Like a plant, I was thinking here, you have to have the right environment to be able to flourish or blossom or grow. So look at your like virtual pot that you're kind of like a plant. Is it not any longer feeding you? Do you feel like you're kind of not being nourished by this environment? If that's the case, change the environment, shift up the foundation, so that you can grow, so that you can move, so that you can continue to flourish, right? Okay. Next thing here that came through was change. We can't stop it. It's continuing. I think some people were hoping that right here at the beginning of the new year, everything would be normal or go back to, it's not. We are kind of in a continual shift. And what's important now is to start to change if you haven't already. So move with the current of change. There's no going back. And I think what we have to start to focus on instead is making a quantum leap. Innovation. This is the time to innovate. This is the time to try new things. What do you want to do? And I'm asking you seriously, what is it that you want to do with your career, with your life, with your health? What is it that you truly this year want to accomplish? Not a New Year's resolution like I'll eat less chocolate or I'm going to work out 2 days a week or whatever it is you're trying to do. I want you to really think on a soul level. What is it that would make me happy? Because if you're not going to do it now, when are you going to do it? I had advice from somebody, gosh, it was a while ago. It was like 20 years ago or something, when I was just kind of like starting out school and career and everything. And I said, well, I'm going to do this for a little bit, then I'm going to try this. And they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, really, it's this. They said, don't wait too long. And I didn't listen to them. I took 10 or 15 years longer than I thought I would to kind of get on my path. And so my advice to all of you is whatever it is you want to do it today, because tomorrow can go way out in the future. You never know when that's going to happen. Make it happen now. Start to make something move forward. I would ask you, what's holding you back? Is it money? Is it a fear of people not understanding what you're trying to do? Sorry, I'm just turning off my phone there. What is it that is really distracting you from your path? Just like I muted that, like get rid of that distraction and figure out like, how can I find a way to really make this happen? That should be your main focus for this year. Cutting out caffeine, exercising more, being healthy, all of that stuff is well and good. As I was talking about to yesterday's sign, the stronger your body is, the more capable you are of being a clear channel. So I think those resolutions hold a nice place, but you should be making them year long. You don't have to just do it once a year. I would say do little steps when it comes to that. But the big thing for you is, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And if you were on a sort of, if you were at your end of your life and on a life review with your guides and with your higher self, if there was a regret, turn it into a goal. Imagine you were there and think, oh, I wish I could have done that. Make the I could have, I would have done that into I am doing it, and start doing it now. All right. Next thing was flipping kind of like puzzle pieces over. I saw this in my mind's eye. So I would say, flip your perspective. You might be looking at it from the wrong direction, the wrong angle. Just like Four of Cups, sometimes we don't know what we're looking at until we kind of look around and take stock of what's going on. I really don't think there are blocks per se. I think there are things coming through to help you. And there are sort of like, there are no coincidences either. You're calling in these lessons and these opportunities to decide, is this what I want? What's going on, etc. So if, for instance, let me give you a more tangible example. Let's say you have been trying to get the attention of someone that you love, but they're not reciprocating. And maybe this is a new love, like someone that you're dating. There may be a message there that this isn't the optimal match, or that they're not as capable as sort of like giving you what you're looking for. The reciprocity is not there. So rather than trying to force or to make or to help them kind of see it, give them space and see what happens. And then you can start to redirect your energy. If there's a job that you're applying for and you've put in an application 3 or 4 times, or you've gone on a few interviews and they seem indecisive, that could be indicative of the type of environment that you're going to experience there. Do they have a lack in vision? Do they have tentative leadership that is incapable of making decisions? If so, this might be the universe saying, keep looking, there's something better. So in both situations, if there is someone who won't commit, it's for a reason. And we should listen to people's doubts. So if I hear someone now say, I don't think I'm good enough for this, I would say, okay, well, call me when you are, because I need you to believe in you. If you don't believe in you, then I don't think I can go there for you. So really believe in what's going on. And when people show up, however they show up, allow them to be their authentic selves. Let's not try to change them. It's different if you're a teacher or a parent and you're trying to help foster growth. But when it comes to someone that you're dating or a potential boss that you might have, we don't want to, you can't really change a boss. That's actually a dangerous sort of territory too. So pay attention to I would say these are warning signs. These are helpful little flares on the side that are trying to help you go on a smoother path, okay? Align to your true north. Everybody, I mean, yes, it's not like Polaris. We're not all going to look at the same place. Our heart is bringing us in different directions. We all have our own sort of cosmic north. So find that cosmic north and listen to your inner compass and figure out where you need to go. And other people will eventually get it. If they don't, that's okay. This isn't a place where we all have to think the same way. I'm just fixing Apollo's bed. He threw a bunch of toys there because he wanted to get my attention. He's a cutie pie. All right, so that's the main messages this month. There is light, there is dark. You need to be the light. You need to find a way, and you can, just like our universe allows us to do. Organization is going to be really key this month. It's going to help you attract higher frequencies. Pick a goal, and a really good one, and stick to it on your heart level that you feel. And don't worry about the smaller stuff. That you can work with friends and family to keep you accountable. But this one is going to be between you and your soul. And then finally, just stick with your compass, your inner compass. Because just as I was talking about with the Hermit, really the Hermit is a journey of discovery. So the Hermit spends a little bit of time going inward in order to learn who he or she is, and then they can share that with the world. And that's where I hope that you're all getting. And so as we watch the world around us rapidly change in a way that I haven't seen in my entire lifetime, we have to start to change as well, because some things will return to normal, a lot of things won't. And in periods like this, my advice would be to innovate. When I look at companies that survived the early 2000s, where we saw some global events, some recessions, the mid 2000s, where we had another recession, the Great Recession. And I think now the ones that came through were the ones that kept pushing, and they didn't stop investing in research and development. So we do the same thing on ourselves. We have to continue to research, develop, grow, and expand. We can't allow a period like this to bring us to contraction. You can't kind of go inward. So I want to help you expand, and that's going to be hopefully the energy that we're looking at today as we look at the cards, okay? So thanks for letting me remain quiet while I do this. right, everybody. Thanks for giving me a couple minutes to get everything set up here. And don't worry, we're going to go through every card just in case you couldn't see any of them. I'd like to begin with the Catalyst card. And we have a very sort of contemplative figure sitting here on the hill. The card was reversed, but I really like the halo or the nimbus that we see around the person's head. This is a period where many of you are gaining insight and ideas. Ideation can be definitely happening right now, whether you're working or not working. I remember when I had a corporate job, sometimes I would be busy, but distracted. Some tasks I could just sort of like kind of automate, and then I would be thinking of other things that I needed to be doing. So I would encourage you actually to do a little bit of daydreaming. If you're so busy that your job doesn't allow you time to meditate, I would challenge you to try to make a little bit of time in the morning, even if it's while you're taking a shower or a bath. You can meditate in those 5 or 10 minutes. Just I saw this on my Instagram feed from a fellow light worker, and I appreciate it. Just the act of breathing is meditation. So if all of us just took a moment and it's a way to self-medicate. It's a way to move the energy through your body. And so when you feel stressed out, you do it naturally, usually. Sometimes when you get bad news or when you tell someone something they don't want to hear, they sigh like that. That's actually not just that they're annoyed at you. It's a physical response to self-nurture and to kind of self-soothe. So make sure that you're at least breathing. But what I like about this is if you can get outside a little bit, we see someone here in nature on a hill or outside looking at the water. I think it would be really good for you to disconnect from this. It's nice to have, working and living environments, but we need the fresh air. We need a little bit of sunlight to thrive as well. So get out there and allow your mind to be open. Whatever comes to mind, I want you to honor that first initial thought. That's going to be your most powerful connection to your highest source. I was speaking with somebody last week and they were asking how to develop intuition. And that would be my advice, is to try to think of someone or something about which you need some clarity and ask a question in your head. And then the first thing that comes to mind, that's your download. When you start the day, ask your guides and ask your higher self, what should I focus on today? The same way when I'm brushing my teeth, showering, walking the dog, getting dressed, I think about, what should I talk to Gemini about today? And all these things start to come into my mind, partly because I'm not focusing on doing something. It actually opens up your mind. If you're not trying to be productive, you sort of secretly can be productive. So with intuitive downloads, if you can kind of distract yourself a little bit and open up, that's actually a key to open up the door to intuition. If you try too hard, it's not going to work. So just be open. You have to either surrender or be distracted and just pick up on something. And as I was saying yesterday, the universe kind of whispers the intuition into you, into your ears, into your mind, into your thoughts. So just be awake, be aware, do other activities and think, what should I be doing? What should I be focusing on? It'll come to you. So listen, you're getting the downloads. That's the big satellite dish behind that person's head. Okay? All right, let's go to the center. If I'm going to get the Seven of Swords, I'd rather see it reversed. So I'm glad it's at the center. This is really saying to be accountable and to expect that accountability from others. The Seven of Swords often comes through when you discover something. The Moon, the Seven of Swords, the Devil card. All of these are about knowing that you need to deal with something. And it's kind of like a wink and a nod from the universe. Hey, are you going to take care of this? So for you, when we're looking at how it would affect you, sometimes we tell ourselves the biggest lies, right? Or the little, like we just kind of try to fool ourselves into believing something that we shouldn't. So this month, I would love you to be more honest with yourself. Not about someone else, not necessarily about things going on around you. First and foremost, just to be honest with yourself. Am I happy? Is this working? Do I want this? Is this the right thing for me, whatever this is? So all of the things that are going on in your life, I'd like you to just look at it and think, does this feel right? Am I doing the best that I can? Does this make me happy? If you check off all the boxes, then you've accurately and adequately sort of, I would say, transitioned this card into something higher and brighter. transmuted was the word I was looking for. Thank you, guides. Now, for people in your life, this is basically saying, don't be afraid to have a conversation with them. So if you have someone in your circle of friends, in your family, maybe that you work for or that works for you, who is just not coming through. They said they were going to pick you up for practice, or they said that they were going to cover a shift for you, or they said that they would call you, whatever it is that they said they were going to do. If they keep kind of flaking out on that, then just have a heart-to-heart. Say, what's going on? I would start with that. How are you? What's going on? This is out of character. Is everything okay? This sets the expectation that you are assuming the best and you're concerned about their well-being, rather than saying, hey, I waited 30 minutes for you. You didn't show up. It made me angry. You can put that in later. Start off first to see if there was something that was going on. So check in with some people around you and see, perhaps, if they're not showing up the way they need to show up, why that's happening. And then if you've established that they're just literally flaking out, then you can express, this is showing me that you're not invested. So I'm going to stop investing as much because it's just not worth my time and energy until you're fully invested. So have a mature conversation with someone about accountability, and then be accountable with yourself. And then, because we're talking about accounting and I saw paperwork, look at your own accounting. And if there's something that you need to change it. Adjust your budget. We don't need to be afraid of the Seven of Swords. It's just saying, it's like raising its hand saying you need to do something. So figure out what it is you need to do. Be honest, figure it out, get on with it. We have the Prince of Swords on top of this. This is really you. And it's just saying, this is your chance to move things forwards. Princes are knights in this deck. So as we can see here, it's like he's kind of riding a chariot. He's being brought forward by an eagle, which is really interesting. I'm not sure how this chariot would work, but I like the illustration. When I see birds, this is really more about divine connection. So we're kind of going back to this. Follow through on whatever ideas or insights or epiphanies are coming through this month, and allow those to sort of be the wind beneath your wings here. And that's kind of what I'm getting with this card. So if you're not doing something that you want to do, just be honest with the fact that you could do it, but you're choosing not to. And if someone else is trying to be negative about something that you want to do, the Seven of Swords can also be kind of like a deceptive element there. So they're showing their true colors, and then you know that you're not going to count on them for the support that you need on that. So be discerning. Seven of Swords also saying be discerning and be picky, basically. So as you start to engage with new people, look through those engagements, and specifically the contracts. Prince of Swords, Seven of Swords could just be editing something. If you don't like it, go back and edit it. There's nothing wrong with editing an agreement or saying, I don't like this, or can we initial this? So you've got the power to do that if you want to. Let's look at the deep past and the recent past. For many of you, this could be things that are coming through, or these could be things that are coming through right here and right now. So the Nine of Cups reversed, deep past. We love the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a card, as you can even see with the text at the top, it's usually of joy, of happiness. It's good. Now, it's also an extreme card. This one, we don't see it as much. We actually just see someone going so fast that they're almost walking on water, but at some point, ostensibly, they may just fall through. So what we have to be careful with like Three of Cups and Nine of Cups is not to overdo it. And a lot of times, these are the emotional roller coasters that are high and low. So if you've had a really good experience, celebrate, but don't go overboard. If you've had a lot of things that are challenging, try to find a way that you can honor that emotion, but not let it hold you back from good opportunities that are trying to knock on the door, right? So working with and honoring emotions, but not being beholden to those emotions, I think is what I see with this card. Overall, though, the great part of the Nine of Cups is the ability to see the positive. And that's what I want to garner and kind of glean out of this particular card as well. So if you can look at any situation in your life and try to find the blessing in it, you're going to feel so much better about everything. Sometimes we need extra time and extra space to get that perspective, but just make the assumption or set that expectation that there is a reason, and I will understand that reason even if I don't today. I'm going to redirect my attention if I am feeling triggered by this and focus on something that makes me feel passion. because you can use 9 of cups kind of like throwing coal in the fire. There's going to be more energy. So if you can really get behind something, then again, it's like the wind in your sails and great things will happen, right? All right, let's look at the recent past. See, these are actually very good cards. So I like that these, we're starting off with reversed good cards. So there's not a lot that I can say negative, except don't go to extremes. With this one, it's don't say no to help if the person truly wants to assist you or is looking for a growth opportunity. 9 of Pentacles is financial independence. It can also be sort of like sitting up in a tower and removing yourself from people because you're successful or because you're independent. But there might be someone there that could make your idea even better, bring you to the 10 of Pentacles, give you more abundance, grow it, share that with you. So independence is good, but don't shut everything and everyone out, especially if there's a great idea. That's all. But I love that we're getting 9 of Pentacles for you. That shows me that if you do need to get honest with yourself and do a little bit of editing with your finances, that you're actually on the right track. You've been able to do it before. You have the core capacity to be wealthy and independent and self-sufficient. So lean into that. And then maybe even let somebody else come in as well, because you might be able to grow this a little bit more. When I see all the sunflowers, it reminds me of the Queen of Wands. So some of you might be wanting to take a little bit more ownership over your business, or you might want to help other people with their money. That's a great card for financial planners. So yeah, I feel really good about your resources this month. We also have an Ace of Pentacles here in the opportunity space. It's reversed too, but there's a lot of other cards that are upright. So we'll talk about those. And I think that it's just perspective. Remember I said flip the perspective. So when I see flipped cards, I'm just going to flip the perspective for you to help you out. Okay. We have the Hermit card here, reverse, which actually means coming out of your shell. It's a good card. This Hermit is kind of more like a shaman if you look really closely. And I can't read Sanskrit, but there's some beautiful, except this, we've got Om, but the rest of it I can't read. Basically, what I'm seeing here is I want you to march to the beat of your own drum. And this Hermit also has an hourglass, something I haven't noticed before. If you look really close, you can see the old-fashioned hourglass right there, right? So there is a time and a place to pull back and be the hermit. There's also a time and a place to step out and be the star. And if we go back into channeled messages from this morning, that's really where I feel like you're being encouraged to move. So the hermit carries the star. In this case, we see it in the form of a torch, but we also have the additional message of timing. And now is the time, is what we see with that. Now is the time to step up. Now is the time to step out. And yeah, it's honor that if you can. Okay. Let's look at what your potential block could be, because remember, I saw the puzzle pieces. Hey, Paula. And I saw that for some of this, we're going to have to flip it around. So it is actually auspicious when we see 7 of Swords or 3 of Swords in the reverse state. What I really like about the way that this particular deck, it's called Sun and Moon, the way that it dealt with Swords is that there's a lot of cognitive energy with it. It's air, which is why this is happening in the clouds, right? So with this, we see the sort of like thought bubble and then the swords here. So if you choose to put energy into something that makes you unhappy, it grows. This is why I think I was drawn to talk a little bit about a black hole, because black holes won't live forever. They will eventually evaporate. So if you don't feed it, if there's no more matter around it, at a certain point, it will start to break down. It takes a long time. I should post a video. There's this great video on YouTube where it shows like how the world might end, because we're still figuring things out. But there's an era where all the stars will die and there's just going to be black holes. But they kind of eventually go off like fireworks. They dissolve and they kind of then dissipate into nothing. And then it's just like photons and whatever at the very, very end of time. But black holes, even black holes, need food to survive. So black holes and negative energy, if you don't feed it, then you can start to swirl outward and around it and knock. That stuff will always be there, but it doesn't have to be so strong. So if there's someone in your life that's making you crazy, maybe it's time to disconnect on social media. Maybe it's time to separate yourself a little bit. Maybe it's time to just stop. I had a Reiki teacher once that reminded me with this person that was just, again, driving me nuts. I said, how do I get them out of my mind? She said, exactly. Just stop thinking about them. Focus on something else. When that comes in, change the channel. She said, this person's only powerful because you keep fixating on them. And it was good advice, and it was a kick in the behind that I needed. So with the Three of Swords, it's okay. Pain is something we have to feel, but we don't have to feed it. So find something that you can redirect your energy into that's more deserving of it. The Seven of Swords and the Three of Swords tells me that there was probably something that you could do better than whatever that was. If there was an X in your life, you could do better than that. Okay. You deserve more happiness. So this is just about really giving yourself a chance to experience more. And I think I wrote that it's time to kind of think of like a quantum leap. So yeah, maybe I didn't. But if I didn't, I meant to. It's time for you to kind of look at a quantum leap for something better and imagine that it could happen a little bit faster than you imagine. So just start to think, I'm ready for more love and abundance, and I'm ready for it to happen now. I'm not needy, but I am actually open to it here and now, not like 10 years from now. And then the universe starts to react to that as well. There is some healing that has to happen with your sign this month, and I won't sugarcoat that. We have the Ten of Swords here as well. So the Ten of Swords can be physical, it can be mental. Examples of Ten of Swords can be an argument with someone that you love. It doesn't have to be physical pain. It can just be a spilling of words. So in a traditional illustration, not so much in this particular card, this one's kind of nice, but traditionally we would see a person and you see the blood on the ground. The blood, to me, it can also indicate not just like carnage, but it's spilled words, bad blood, right? So this is a time to let the bad blood go. Let it go and focus instead on healing yourself. Chronic pain can also be the Ten of Swords. So is there something going on in your body that you've been putting off fixing? So maybe it's an elective surgery, maybe it's physical therapy, maybe it's just something that you need to do to be healthier. Work with your physician, obviously, whenever it comes to health, but this is a time to be accountable with that. With the accountability at the heart of the spread, this is really what is coming through with this. With the Three of Swords, there was probably someone in your life that just didn't show up the way you wanted to. It still makes you feel bad. With the Ten of Swords, there could be something going on in your mind, body, or spirit that you need to fix. So just take accountability and work on that. And the other thing with this that I do like, even when the 7, the 3, and the 10 have some positive things. The 10 means it's over. This is like a period or a full stop at the end of a sentence. You can't go any further down the path, really, than the Ten of Swords. So if there was something that feels like, can it get any worse? Probably not. Or at this point, you have a choice to go in a different direction. So that's a good thing, because that means that things start to look up, okay? The important thing here, because we see it at the heart, we see it in the near future, and we see it in the soul, is to heal the soul. We'll definitely do that in the meditation today. And when I do the soul work at the second part of this reading, we'll go a little bit deeper into how to heal those scars. But I don't want them to hold you back, and because you have to start to act quickly. We have the Hanged Man, and it's actually upright, which means things they're going to start to happen pretty fast here. And what's going to happen? An opportunity is knocking. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles could be new love, new job, new idea. Remember, you're receiving, and the pentacle is not too different than that nimbus behind the person's head, the halo. And so are you ready now to stop putting energy into what didn't work and what wasn't happening? And might even be what's going on around you. I think many of us are feeling, because I'm doing this in real time, and I imagine things will still be in a situation of change and unrest next month. You can't not be aware of what's going on in the world. So 7 of Swords, distrust. 3 of Swords, unhappiness. 10 of Swords, fear of safety. All of those things are coming through for us as we look at the pandemic, the crazy political environment, and also just what's going on with friends and family, and we feel separated from it. So I think these are normal things to be coming through. So don't read too much into the fact that you have some swords cards here, and instead focus on the opportunity card, which is the Ace of Pentacles. What's this all leading you to? Wake up and look at some of the other things and the beautiful things that are here. Look at all the growth happening around this. So I really want you to plant the seed and put the energy into the new year and what you want to make of it. Yeah, it's off to a kind of sputtering beginning, but it's just the first couple months. A lot can change. 2020 is evidence of that. I feel like each day now is, each hour, each minute, so much more can happen. And time is moving at such more of a rapid clip now than it used to. Even like, for those of you that remember the 80s and 90s, before there was phones where you could text and look at the internet and all of that. And when you had dial-up computers where you would have to like just spend a few hours of internet per month, there was a different pace. Information didn't travel at the same speed. I feel like just like the expansion of the universe, we're in an expansion period where everything's happening much faster. So if you ever study astronomy a little bit, like there was this Big Bang, and then there was this weird period towards the beginning where all of a sudden there was this rapid expansion, and we kind of haven't stopped going in that rapid expansion. So I feel like time right now for us is starting to move faster, and we have to keep up. So there's no time to look at this other stuff. You got to focus on this because it could happen faster, a quantum leap. So just like all this other stuff is happening, some really cool stuff can happen for you as well, right? And then we got the King of Wands. I was mentioning the Queen of Wands here. King of Wands is fantastic. Both the King and the Queen are kind of magical. I would dare I say that I think that the Queen is more magical than the King because she sits in the desert and there's like flowers growing around her. It's almost impossible. She's magic. But let's just assume that the King is the next step up in that. And he's riding a unicorn in this one, so it's pretty magical. So this means that if you put your mind to something, you can do it. These are the master cards for organization. That's why I was thinking about it earlier. Management usually comes through. If I was reading for someone and they hadn't told me what kind of job that they liked, and I got a few of these cards, I would say, you're a really good manager, especially if I got the Queen of Wands. So King of Wands tells me you might be at a point where you're ready to do something on your own, or maybe you're looking to assist someone in that position. Maybe you want to be administrative assistant or an intern, or if you are retired, because I always want to be inclusive in the readings here, you might also be at a point where you're welcoming people that you want to mentor. So do something with that. I see that there's a learning or a leap opportunity, and it's either you're going to leap up to that role or you're going to learn from somebody that has that experience. But basically, these two cards are fantastic. This is an opportunity, and this is you running with it and doing something with it. That's great. It could also be new love. When we get this can be an expression of interest, a proposal. It could be like, I want to go out on a date, something like that. This can also be the kind of person that you're pulling in, which I like. It's a stand-up sort of person. So if you've been through some crazy stuff and there's someone new coming in, awesome. If you're in a relationship, we'll talk more about this when I get to love, but I feel like I need to talk about it now. The 7, the 3, and the 10 of Swords are telling me there's some serious work to be done. So this relationship doesn't have to just be love. It could be work. It could be a boss. It could be a family member. There's some sort of a healing that needs to happen there. So fix the old ones and make room for this new friend or partner that wants to come through, because it looks so much better than some of the other stuff that you've had to deal with, right? Okay. One last thing, there's a little bit of a maturity gap, and I already talked about that. We have a Knight and a King. So again, I think there's a lot you can learn from somebody. There's a little bit of teaching energy. When we pull in people in our lives, sometimes they come through just for fun. Sometimes they come through as a teacher, and this one seems like it's a teacher. Just figure out what the lesson is so you can figure out if you want to take the course. We'll look at it more when I'm looking at love, and maybe I can help you. I might, at the end, I'll pull a bonus card or something. Okay, let's dig a little deeper into the expanded forecast. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget that, because it's a good question. So I'm going to ask, what's the lesson, if there's somebody new. Okay, I wrote it down. I'm going to put it over. I'll put it right here. I have a little clip pad there. Okay, let's go into the expanded forecast. We have in your health area patience. So let me just pull the card up while I take a drink. Health is mind, body, and spirit. This one said that I accept that everything happens in the divine order. So divine timing, divine order. And remember how I said there are no coincidences way back at the beginning? There are no coincidences. Everything is there to align you to your your true north. So that's really what this is about. This is your true north. So wherever you are right here and right now, I want you to take a moment and think, okay, does this feel right? Why am I triggered by the fact that this did or didn't happen? What more do I want? And really be present, because I think that we're being pushed and asked to be more present than we used to be. It's the only way you can avoid a Four of Cups moment where something's sitting there like fruit ready for the picking, but you miss it. And you don't want to spoil that opportunity, right? I think if I was to do the Four of Cups, that's something that I would pull into it. Something there like fruit that's ready to be picked, because that's kind of what I truly see when I'm looking at that. So look around you. If you feel like something's not happening, look up, look to the right, look to the left, go inward, look into your heart, really be present and look around, because I feel like you're being set up for success, okay? The other thing with this, if you are recovering from an injury, this definitely could be an injury, okay? The Ten of Swords could be a sprained, and usually I wouldn't think of sprain on that. I would think of Five of Pentacles, but it could be. It could be like a broken bone, a sprained ankle, pulled muscle, whatever. It takes time to heal. I actually had a sprain last year and I'm still experiencing some discomfort. So it takes time to heal through all of that. So give yourself proper time to do that. And we also see that with the Hermit card here, but take some action and don't wait anymore. Talk to somebody about that. It's interesting too that I mentioned that, because when we look at the Hanged Man, there is that ankle. So some of you might be having some ankle issues or some balance issues. And so work on strength training if that's the case. The Three of Swords is a reminder to, I talked yesterday about pain and how pain can actually find different ways of coming into your body and manifesting. So if we're sad, if we're angry, if we're frustrated, you can get like a migraine, you can have hypertension, high blood pressure, you can just have a whole slew of things. You can even have lower resistance to, cold and flu, which we can't afford to do right now. So I really encourage you not to burn the candle at both ends. Take proper care of yourself and really ask for help. Be patient with yourself, and you're going to get through this, okay? Because ultimately we have a card of movement and empowerment at the end. We also have an ace, which is a new beginning, okay? So just see this as a chance to do better, and it's a new start, and it's a new normal, your own new normal. It's not going back to what it was. Whenever you have a change in your body, something that was operated on, broken, reset, whatever, it's not the same, but it can still be an amazing, it can fit your body just fine. You just have to learn to love it differently, right? Okay. That's the health thing, is be patient with yourself, be patient with others, and take some action when it comes to taking care of your body. Okay, the Nine of Cups can also show, for those of you that sometimes maybe don't consider emotional, I shouldn't say emotional, it's mental health. Mental health is health too. So if you are just depressed, not just, if you are depressed, if you are experiencing other sort of stress mentally, take care of that. That's the most important thing. Everything else goes out the window. You've got to take care of that too. Okay. All right, let's look now at wealth. We have crossing bridges, and it says it's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. Some of you might just be getting ready to start something new, or leave an old job, or walk away from a partnership. This is less of a love relationship. This is more like you worked with somebody. The card is reversed, which is saying the release takes time. Don't burn any bridges. That's what I'm seeing with this. If you have nothing nice to say, just move on. It's hard to do that, but it might just be better than saying something and letting that kind of sour the water. And it's time for movement. The good news for you is I do see an opportunity, but it could be in an unexpected way because the ace was reversed. But guess what? With an ace, it doesn't matter really what direction it is. It's an opportunity, right? The coin doesn't change no matter how I shift it. So in this, an opportunity is an opportunity. Look at it from a few different points of view and see if it's worth it. I feel like there's something good on the horizon for you, okay? Just be open to it. Other things with wealth. For those of you that are retired or are out of work, there is definitely some impatience that's coming through here. The Hermit, I'm tired of being stuck. Literally both of these. I'm tired of being cooped up or stuck, home alone, whatever it is. I get it. Start to find ways to reconnect with people that you care about. Go into your Rolodex and think, who haven't I talked to for a while? Reach out, stretch out a little bit too, exercise if your body allows you to do that. It seems like some of us could benefit from that based on what I'm looking at with this, and find a way to reconnect with the people that you love and the things that you love in your life as well. That's going to give you a sense of worth. We always need, it doesn't matter if we're not working, we can still be growing. So whether it's retirement or unemployment, that doesn't devalue you. That just actually gives you an opportunity to reimagine yourself and repackage your whatever it is that you are going to consider yourself. When I left a corporate job, it was interesting because there's no title for what I do anymore. I guess you could say I'm an original content producer. I'm a intuitive, I'm a coach, I'm a writer, but I'm a lot of things. You can't put me in a little box anymore. When you're at a job, they want to put a box and a pay scale, and we're not really like that. We're kind of more organic. And so the mixed blessing is when you're not in a job, whether that means you're at school or in a period between work, much better than saying unemployed, you're between work, or when you've worked long enough that you don't have to work for a living anymore, then you get to choose in that moment who you want to be. It's not just when you're a little 5 or 6 or 10-year-old kid, you always get to reimagine that. So there you go. All right. Love, communication is what's coming through. Literally, we see the vocal cords here on this card. And we're pulling in beautiful sort of higher frequency colors of the third eye and the crown chakra here. I mean, we have them all, but it's primarily sort of working with the healing energy here of the higher realms. So with communication with the ones that you love, elevate the speech. Find a way that you can try to either help somebody see it from a different angle, or just don't react in the way that they want you to, because sometimes it's like feeding that dark energy. So say something positive, say something constructive. You can say something critical if you want, but don't make it painful. Just, there should be a purpose behind the words that we say. Otherwise, we should think them through a little bit more. And I think that's what this is about. Find your voice, listen to others, give them a chance to speak as well. Communication is key with relationships. For some, there's just been a breakdown. If there's someone in your life that is the 7, 3, and 10 of swords, it's okay to move on. And it will help you, and you'll be able to refocus your energy into something that's much more worth your time and your attention. As I said earlier, there could be a new love or a new partnership or a new opportunity connected with this ace and this ace of pentacles and this king of wands. I like the king of wands. It's great fiery energy that can bring you into something new, and a lot of passion here too, mutual interest as well. So looks good if you're looking for a new partnership or a new friendship. I like what's on the horizon, but you got to work through the work first that came through at the center. And there's a decent amount here of healing that needs to be done for some of you, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or energetic. Something needs to kind of be balanced out. Okay, you got 2 cards for destiny. So we'll talk about the one that was on top, and it says surround yourself with protective energy. We have this arrow, but there's also like a shield beneath the arrow. And there's a lot of discs right now. Have you noticed that? Like a lot of pentacles that are coming up, kind of hidden. So I see 3. And what is that? The 3 of Pentacles, right? 3 discs to me show that you're going to move towards something big. There's an opportunity for recognition on the horizon. So we have a card that didn't show up, but its energy showed up. It says surround yourself with protective energy. In order to kind of achieve this opportunity, this is also like the Ace of Swords, because in many decks, arrows are swords, bows are usually wands. So you'd have to communicate or speak up. So we have kind of another pentacle, and then we also have a sword, an Ace of Swords. So it's 2 aces that I see here that didn't show up. Well, we actually have another pentacle there. So it's like another Ace of Pentacles and another Ace of Swords. So really speak up, take action, move forward with your ideas. You've got multiple cards showing encouragement with that. Now we have a reversal here. We have the White Witch, be the light, which is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Let's just, to me, she reminds me of we have Green Man, Green Woman. It's kind of like the Green Woman energy, because we're seeing all this forest stuff around her. We have a moth or butterfly. We have the owl, and then we have all this green stuff around her. So use your light to create positive things. I probably would have just called this light worker, but Light Witch, Light Worker, Green Woman, whatever. There's an ability right now to create some positive stuff in your life, but you've got to shine brightly. And that's the sort of secret sauce because it was stuck to this card. And don't underestimate your own ability to do that, right? That owl is arresting. Look at that. So to me, owls come through with nocturnal guidance, and their eyes are only attuned to sort of see things sometimes when it's dark, right? They're hunters. They have these really big eyes, but I don't think they can see as well in the daytime as they can at night. So for some of you, I would encourage you for your intuitive development to really pay attention to the messages that are coming through in the evening. As we look at this other pentacle right behind it, to me, it's not too different than what we see here. A lot of divine energy that wants to come through the crown chakra. We look at the communication card. That's really what we're seeing. So if you don't free write, you should try it. That's how today I got a lot of the stuff from the cosmos. I had to write a bunch of cards before I got it the way that I wanted it, but I sit here and I write for a while. And then it comes out what I want to say. So I like typing. I hate manual writing, but it's a necessary piece to connect with my intuition. So I just work with it and my hand cramps up and I keep writing. But just know that that's a way that you can actually go higher if you want to. All right. Let's review everything and make sure that we have some time for the soul path. All right, let me take a drink while I do that. So we talked a bit about the catalyst. The catalyst helps you connect to your highest energy. And I saw some correlations here between this beautiful owl and also what we're seeing here. So I believe some of you are starting to get insights, but you might be doubting those insights. So don't doubt those insights. It's time for you to start to kind of like receive and act on it, as we saw with the Hermit card. Change up your environment a little bit too. If you're not productive in one space, go outside, or go to a different space in the house and try to work a little bit more. I know a lot of us are not able to be in the offices yet. 7 of Swords, 3 of Swords, and 10 of Swords. I feel like they're all going together. Accountability, healing when it comes to relationships, and healing when it comes to the body. Those are the main messages that are coming through with that. So be accountable and expect accountability with others. Release painful or toxic relationships. Allow yourself to don't beat yourself up, I would say. We don't make mistakes. We call in lessons and we learn from them. And then take time to be healthier. Take action. We've got a Knight card here. So some of this is also going to be about action over your money, because we have a couple cards that you could be sad about some decisions or some mistakes that you think you've made. This is showing me you can fix it, especially with the Ace of Pentacles here. You're going in the right direction. Don't go to extremes with emotions. Honor them. Don't go too high. Don't go too low. Ask for help if you need it. Use the passion, though, if you are going to need to sort of like experience a little bit of a boon instead of caffeine or whatever. Really get excited about something and use that to make something happen faster. Don't ignore a possible alternative. The 9 of Pentacles is independent, but sometimes it can be exclusively independent to a fault if it's reversed. So you can do this, but you don't always have to do it alone. Sometimes you can do it alone, but you don't always have to do it alone. It's good to have privacy and to keep to yourself, but this card is saying that over the course of the next few months, you're going to be asked to step outside of your shell and literally go into the light of the Hermit. Although this card was a little bit different than the one that I showed earlier. I'm going to pull it up here. Just remember that all hermits carry the energy of the star. And so you really want to bring in that lantern there and then step into the star, since that's really what this is about this month for you. We already talked about the swords. The Hanged Man is really about having the patience and making sure that you've integrated all of the lessons. Don't rush too fast through something. There's a new opportunity, and I also think a new friendship or partnership that's going to be attached to that, and just be open to that. King of Wands tells me you can ultimately do this on your own. You may still need to hire some help or something if you're going to do something, but for those of you that want to be entrepreneurs, you're fine. If you're single and happy, awesome, then I see growth and abundance with work. A little bit of healing that needs to be done, but growth and abundance. Be patient with yourself, be patient with others, be patient with your body more than anything, because healing takes time. And again, I'm getting the ankle here as I'm looking at this, so give yourself time to heal in the ankle area. Hey, Apollo. All right, and then as we look at your wealth, we have crossing bridges. So this is saying you might be ready to begin something new. You also might be releasing something old. However you're going to do this, really work to not blow up the old connections, not the old bridges should stay connected. And if there's something new, it takes time to trust, to know that person. So don't rush, because the Hanged Man is right by this too. There's a time and a place, and you can't. Trust is earned. Relationships evolve over time, and if you try to force it, it kind of seems it seems weird. Have you ever watched one of the shows that show somebody that goes backwards in time and tries to redo it? It usually doesn't work for those reasons. I'm thinking of Groundhog Day, and then also there was an old series on television, Felicity. Like last season, she went back in time for a few episodes. But for both of those, I remember seeing the person trying to do stuff, and the people around them thought they were frantic because they were making assumptions that there was already a connection between them and the other people that didn't exist. And the things hadn't been set up right, and it just felt odd. So don't force new relationships. They take time. And if you're trying to move too fast, or if the other person's moving too fast or too slow, reset things a little bit. I think that's going to be important. Communication is key. That's why we've got the voice card there. And then for the last message again, direction. We were talking about North Star or inner compass, and then the White Witch card here as well. I normally do this first, but I'm doing it afterwards because we saw all of that. I just want to review these messages and then we'll get into it. The universe is both light and dark. One gives context to the other, so don't forget about that. I think sometimes the key here is to realize that if you ask yourself, why did that person show up in my life? Maybe it's so that you could see your own light, so that you would stop relying on them or others. They gave you a chance to see your own sort of potential. At the heart of most galaxies, including our own, is a black hole. But even though it exists, there's still this beautiful collection of light and stars and planets all around it that are able to coexist. And light finds a way. When we're looking at those little light particles coming from billions and billions of light years away from the very beginning of the time and space, isn't that amazing that light can last that long? So you can also have a lasting impact on your life and people around you. So find a way. And I would say here, not just find a way, but really find a way to thrive and to shine, right? One of these things here that I want to focus on too is if you're in a place where other people don't know how to show up, your challenge is to kind of be the lighthouse or be the beacon and help them see that. We talked about mentorship, and it came through nicely here with these two cards. And actually, the Prince and the King of Wands are showing that as well. The Prince of Swords here. We all go through this journey in our lives at some point, but it feels like many of you in this sign are being asked to kind of go through the journey of the Hermit and move along to the Star. This helps you realize you had the power to do it all along, just like the Wizard of Oz characters that I talked about. Get organized. That's the King of Wands energy coming through. Get your house, your home, your computer, and your mental state in a good organized place, because like attracts like, and you want to really try to keep everything clean and clear. Then everything in your relationship, your health, and your work is going to also kind of benefit from that. Your house needs to be clean and clear as well, so that you can be able to be productive. Change is inevitable. Change is all around us. Change is going to be part of 2021. Move into the change. Make your own quantum leap. Shed your skin. What do you want to do? I mentioned that because there's a quantum jump and there's a quantum leap. Quantum leap is kind of like the TV show where the guy was moving into different bodies, but I like that. That's kind of what we do in each lifetime. We leap into something new and we learn from it. But you don't have to reincarnate to learn something about yourself. Finally, and this is super important, and I want to look at this as we kind of get into the soul space. What's holding you back? Work at whatever is holding you back. Make that be your goal. Forget about the normal New Year's resolutions, or don't put as much energy into those. Flip your perspective. We did a lot of that today. There might be some sort of low-lying fruit that you're not kind of grabbing and taking advantage of. There aren't any really truly any blocks or coincidences. It's all here to help move you forward and align you to your true path. All right, let's take a look a little bit deeper into the soul energy for this month. And I wrote that side thing. What's the lesson? Okay. Before I go into the lesson for the new relationship, I want to look at Seven of Swords, Three of Swords, Ten of Swords. Where's the healing is my first lesson for you. So let's see. What can you work on healing or releasing? It's just water, by the way. Okay, Ace of Wands. Interesting card to come through. So with the Ace of Wands, where's the healing? For me, for some of you, the Ace of Wands to me really is more about honoring your ideas, your inner fire. I feel like for some of you, there could have been a person that kind of like put that candle or that flame or that torch out, right? Unfortunately, sometimes this can be a parent. This can also be a teacher. There can be something, a moment in time where you say, I want to do this. And they make fun of you, or they say that you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not whatever enough. And it sticks. Unfortunately, that stuff sticks with us for a while, right? Words sometimes really do hold a power. So I want you to reclaim your divine right to be happy, to follow this dream, and to do exactly what you want to do. Rekindle your inner fire. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking it from your cosmic self and I'm passing the torch back to you, kind of like an Olympic athlete. So reach out, grab that torch symbolically, and now it's your turn. You got to do something with it. I gave you the torch. Your higher self gave me the torch to give to you. So that's all it is. Reclaim something and pick up on the race wherever you left off. It didn't stop. But it's your leg of the race now, and your soul has to follow through, okay? Stop giving power or focusing or believing the person that said, you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, I don't approve. Or if they didn't care, their loss, right? Okay. We'll look at the lesson now for the new relationship that could be coming in for you. What's the lesson? How is this person or how is this opportunity showing up? What are you trying to learn from them? To speak your truth, we have the Princess of Swords, and the card was reversed. And if we look really close, she has a little butterfly there. So I think the important thing here is to be able to speak your truth. Don't be afraid to say what you need to say. And this person may come through initially to test you, to see if you are able to do that. Once you show up and articulate, it's interesting because we got the voice card here when we were looking at relationships, right? So once that person sees that you are articulate, that you do stand up for yourself, then pay attention to their reaction and think, all right, now that I released the lesson, are they going to constantly test me on this? Is this a personality trait, or was this just an energetic trait? So speak your mind, be constructively critical if you need to, express your hopes, fears, and desires. True friendships, relationships, and partnerships can last through whatever that revelation or whatever that coming out or whatever that discussion will be, okay? So that's your litmus test to see if it's good. Not a bad card, actually, that came through with that. And by the way, I mean, these are very compatible energies too. So, you know, when you have a page and a knight, or prince and a princess in this particular deck, it's pretty compatible. So the King of Wands energy just tells me there might be an age difference or experience difference as well. But I'm looking at the core of it and it looks like it's pretty good. So see how that feels to you, okay? Let's go ahead now. I actually don't worry when I see like a page reversed. Usually when it's a queen or a king, that's when it can be overly critical. When it's a page or a knight, to me, that's just speaking up. And even a queen reverse isn't really that bad. It's just about needing to get things out there. So don't be afraid to express yourself. Let's go to the wild card. I want to look a little bit into the magic. Let's just kind of like, she's like this sorceress energy. And the owl keeps grabbing my attention as I look at the table. So what's either this sort of nocturnal energy that's coming through, that's trying to come through in dreams, What's the latent message? What's the sort of wild card that we're supposed to know from the owl in particular? I think of wisdom. I think of Athena when I see the owl too. We got the moon. Okay. The moon is a great card, actually. I mean, it gets a bad rap, but really at its core, it's divine feminine energy. And it's about seeing through illusions in your life. The moon is reflective. It doesn't have its own, it's not a light source, it's a reflection. In one of the decks that I have, I think there's a mirror with it as well. And that's pretty accurate. So what I think you want to look at is really, and by the way, notice the two lighthouses here, right? So you don't need to rely on another person to be your light. You don't have to be their light. And I think that you don't have to change them. When we look at this, we see a wolf and a dog always in most moon cards anyway. So you can't change people 100%. They can shift, they can grow, but there are core pieces of someone's personality that until they've decided to do a significant amount of soul growth, you shouldn't have to change them. And you shouldn't have to change for someone else. And I think that's the main message in the wild card is to talk about what you need to talk about. The moon is about discovery and about accountability. When I get the moon and the Seven of Swords, it's definitely about accountability. And if somebody has been misbehaving, to speak up. We see sort of this Piscean energy at the center here. We see the fish. So there could be a water sign in your life too that needs to be dealt with. And if that's the case, you'll take action as necessary. And then I think focus on you, focus on doing you, and attract what you need to in your life. And I think you're going to be in a good place. So I like that. But the divine feminine energy of the moon also is a card of control. The moon keeps this planet kind of in order. If we didn't have the moon, the tides would not be as punctuated as they were. I think even the way that the earth moves and holds itself wouldn't be the same. So it kind of balanced everything out. So for you, I want you to focus on taking that lunar energy. Listen to what's coming through in dreams for sure. It's interesting that I asked what's the nocturnal message and we got the moon. So I want you to focus on what you can do over the next lunar cycle, the next month, what comes through in dreams, what you're afraid of, and focus on dealing with those fears and getting into a place of empowerment. I think you're going to be in a good space then. Okay. Let's go ahead and meditate so that we have enough time to do that, and then we'll wrap up. Some beautiful stuff came through today, though, I have to say. Before I do that, because I know there's a lot of people that drop off, I just want to give you a way to contact me if you'd like to. First of all, I pinned my website in the upper corner here for live chat. My address is also nicholasashbaugh.com. If you'd like to follow me on social media before we meditate here, you can do that as well. All of my handles are Nicholas Ashbaugh on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Goodreads, etc. I'm going to talk more about this at the end, but I've noticed that there's people that kind of don't stick around for the final piece, and I wish you would because the meditation is amazing. The Twitter handle is @Ashbaugh. So you can hang out with me there if you'd like to, and please hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm going to pull an extra card at the end of this just to see if there's anything more that we need to know about the messages of the moon. But for now, let's get set up for the meditation. And as we get ready for the meditation, let's think about how this is going to look. I want to kind of work with the energy of the Hermit because he came through pretty strongly in the beginning. Sorry, I'm just picking up some cards that fell here. So I want to start with the energy of the Hermit. And so let's imagine that you are standing out looking at the ocean and it's a beautiful night. Maybe you're in Iceland and you're seeing the Aurora Borealis or in Scandinavia. And you can see clear, crystal clear night, no snow, no clouds. It's just stars as far as the eye can see and the northern lights. And as you're sitting there, imagine that you have this magical lantern that you're holding up and looking out at. And within this, you see not just a light, but a star, and it's your soul that you're kind of carrying with you. I want you to look into that and really allow your soul to show you what you're supposed to be doing. Not what your parents told you to do, not what teachers said, not what society expected you to do. But I want it to help you find your true star, your direction. And then we're going to merge with the star as we meditate. So close your eyes. Allow yourself to feel the heat, the light, and the energy of this lantern. And just as I kind of wrote about in my book, we don't always have to see with our physical eyes. Imagine that you are gazing into this lantern with your third eye. So as you close your eyes, it takes a moment, but as you start to connect with what's in front of you, you start to see it from a different perspective. It's no longer just this sort of golden light. You actually see that it's almost as large as the sun itself. Your soul is amazingly strong, powerful, and large, and we don't always think about the soul energy. It's not contained within this body. We're downloading information from the soul. We kind of inhabit and operate this body, but it's not all here. Some of it's up there. So what you're truly seeing is how powerful you are. And so for those of you that had parents and teachers and friends that made you feel less than, look at the power within the lantern. This is the true you. Now imagine that the lantern seems to have shifted in size and shape because you're meditating, because anything's possible. And imagine just like kind of like Alice, you're able to now walk through the lantern. Either it got bigger or you got smaller, who knows? But you're going to open the door to the lantern and you're going to step into the star and become the star. You're no longer the hermit. It's time to evolve. It's time for your light and your energy to be seen. So imagine that just like any star, you can't avoid moving towards it. You start to kind of move around it, just like a planet would. And as you start to do this, you move quicker and quicker until eventually you are inside the star and it feels like home. You can see in all directions, in all space and time, and you're no longer afraid because all the things we worry about on this planet, they don't matter. You start to see the universe as a much bigger place. We're not the only planet. We're not the only life form. This isn't the only time you've walked on this planet or on others. And as you start to reclaim your ancient knowledge, there's a sense of ease that comes into your bones because you realize I can do anything. I've done it before, at least a dozen times. I can do it again. So close your eyes and start to absorb the energy of the star, become the star, and then we'll do a little something special after I play the singing bowl. Take a few deep breaths. Imagine that you could stretch your mind, your arms, your wings, your body, your insight out in every single direction and see what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Honor that. And know now that you have the required insight, the required energy, power, influence to make it happen. You are more than enough for yourself or for others. You should be comfortable in your skin, in your shoes, in your body, in your voice. Own that. Take a moment to beam a little bit of light onto the planet because it's in a place of need right now. There's a lot of sickness. There's a lot of sadness. Share a little bit of your light with the planet. And then slowly feel yourself starting to come back into your body. See yourself on the beach, but imagine now that you're literally glowing. If you could see your skin and if you could see your even your organs and your brain, everything would just look like it was almost like the Matrix scene where he can see the Seraph character. It's all bright, it's all orange, it's all white, it's all yellow. It's kind of like you're a star. So see that star energy in your light, in your body, and carry it with you. Shine in your words, in your actions, in what you do. Be strong. You will inspire others by doing just that, by being yourself. Let's pull a last card here, and then we're going to wrap up. So let's see what's coming through. King of Swords, nice. I really like this because what we've done here is a little bit of integration work that will make any sort of partnership a lot more compatible. Because I actually prefer to have 2 kings or 2 queens. I don't read gender in cards. I read levels of compatibility and also sort of like maturity. So this is you. This is who you're pulling in. We want to have 2 kings. So that's good. I feel like you've made some shifts in your mind, body, and spirit, especially those of you that stuck around the whole time. Thank you. So that's really good. And move forward. There should be binary stars. I talk about that a lot, but your ideal partnership is not, lesser star and a bigger star, or a little planet around it. You want 2 bright stars. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I think we've called into being today. All right. So I talked a little bit about this already, but first things first. If you would really like to help this channel, a simple way to do it is just to hit the thumbs up, the like button. If you can't do it in the live feed, do it when it's on replay. It really helps with discoverability. I don't make the rules at YouTube, but whoever does, they enjoy seeing that. So please hit the thumbs up. If you enjoyed this and you want to see future videos, subscribe and hit the bell. The bell will give you an email when I do something new or send a little notification on your phone or your mobile device, and help you know that something new is coming up. I also have a newsletter, which I don't advertise that much, but you can click on my website and go to social, and it's on the social page there. Or you can just go to my website /newsletter, and all of that's there. I already talked a little bit about how to follow me on social media. One more quick time. I'm on all of these networks. Most of them, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. Twitter, it's Ashbaugh. All the links are on my website, so I'm not going to waste too much time on that. Thank you for everyone who did super chat and applaud if you're watching this on rerun or replay. That really helps as well. It helps me buy some new decks. I'm waiting for some to arrive. I put some purchases in over the past week. So hopefully by next month, I'll have some new decks to share with all of you. Special thanks to my all the members of this channel, anyone that has green text. If you want to support on a monthly basis, you can click the join button. Cool thing with that is you can cancel it and start anytime. So just like Patreon, it's a great way to give back. Finally, if you would like to buy my book, I write fantasy and sci-fi. It's not nonfiction, it's fantasy and sci-fi. And I have a copy of the book here too. It's called The Luminous Ones, available in paperback, hardcover, and ebook. And it's both Kindle and EPUB, so there's a lot of different ways you can buy it. It's on my website. And if you like Lord of the Rings or Dune or Wrinkle in Time, it's in the same sort of family as all of those. Okay. So thank you, everybody, for spending some time with me today. And let's see, I'll be doing Cancer on the weekend on Saturday. On Sunday. My live dates, by the way, since I just made an error there, I'm always live on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and Fridays. So this being Friday, I'll be live on Sunday, and the Sunday reading will be Cancer. All right. Thank you so much. Much love and light. Thanks again to my moderators, Maria and Dakota, for helping out today. And thanks everybody for showing up and working on yourselves. I wish you all the best. Apollo's napping, or I would pull him up, but he's having sweet dreams of taking a walk and getting some food, I think, after this. So take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, okay? Much love and light.